John and Jeanette. I get the Max Perkins Prize, but you are Scribner's 21st Century Hemingway and Fitzgerald, our Marjorie Ken Rawlings. Can I ride my bike home now? I'm so honored to accept an award named for a prior Scribner editor-in-chief, Max Perkins, to whom I am grateful every day as thousands of new readers buy their Gatsby and their Old Man at Sea. Impeccably barbed, handsome, Maxwell Everett Perkins is the icon of editorial eminence and success, a paragon of ethics and integrity, of quality and taste, of stubborn vision and tenacity. He looks sure and infallible when you're sitting on that backless glory, but his was not an easy road. Perkins had tried out 2 careers in social work and journalism before he decided he wanted to be an editor. And when he applied for a job at Charles Scribner & Sons, he was rejected. Instead, Mr. Scribner offered Perkins a position as advertising manager, which he held for 5 years. Perkins surely had success. 24 years later, at his peak, he would publish 9, I'm sorry, I missed a page. This happens. It's like getting published. It's lost. It's a typo. Here we go. Apologies. When he finally joined the editorial staff, it took him 5 more years to find a single book of any significance. Perkins' eureka moment came as he read a manuscript already twice turned down by his colleagues. It was a novel that lacked almost everything a book can lack. Plot, structure, depth of character, consistency of tone, a semblance of an ending. But Perkins sensed in it the stirring of a vital thing, a voice both fresh and permanent. The manuscript was called The Romantic Egoist, and the author was the young F. Scott Fitzgerald. Perkins himself went on to reject Fitzgerald twice until the fresh and natural novel was rewritten in the third person, not the first, wholly reworked in the final pages, and given a new, it now feels inevitable title, This Side of Paradise. When the Scribner editorial board tried to reject Fitzgerald yet again, one editor couldn't stomach This Side of Paradise, another called it hard sledding. Perkins threatened to quit. A publisher's first allegiance is to talent, he told the edit board, and if we're going to turn down a talent like Fitzgerald's, we might as well go out of business. Perkins was 36 years old and had finally found his way. And now I will find my way, page 3. Perkins surely had success. 24 years later, at his peak, he would publish 9 straight major bestsellers, all books that he himself had intensively shaped, solicited, slaved over, bled for, and believed in. A formidable list of now fascinating obscurity that sold a total of 2 million copies for Scribner's in 1943. Here are the 9 authors. Max's own Murderer's Row, Marcia Davenport, Christine Weston, Edmund Gilligan, Etta Schreiber, Mark Aldenov, Nancy Hale, Jane Reback, and Ernest Hemingway. If you're counting, that's 8 names. The 9th writer published by Perkins at his peak is an interesting story. In 1942, Perkins rejected William Faulkner. Why reject Faulkner? 2 reasons. Perkins didn't love Faulkner's writing, and it was all about love for Max. Perkins did fall in love that year with the 9th author on the list, one of the 5 or 6 great talents of the 20th century, Perkins told the world, a budding American Tolstoy. That writer was Joseph Wilson Pennell. Into the Perkins stable goes Pennell, barred from the door is Faulkner. I note the 9 names both to suggest that Perkins was as intent as we are today on selling books, while also pursuing what he believed to be the best books, and to encourage all the editors, agents, and writers here tonight to take comfort in the notion that an error or 2 in judgment plague even our publishing gods. Passion will produce its blunders too. You have to fall in love with a few Joseph Wilson Pennells to earn an Ernest Hemingway. What is the trusting of instinct and passion if not the freedom to be gloriously, and one hopes infrequently, wrong? Believing in our instincts, as Perkins did, creates our only opportunity to be deeply, stubbornly, unreasonably right. Perkins, the idealist, was also a master of diplomacy and pragmatism. Despite email and the total transformation of the physical book for the first time in 7 centuries, Perkins's elegant yet hard-headed letters could be appropriated by any editor in this room and would sound familiar to many of the writers with whom I have been lucky enough to work. At the end of his epical letter on Gatsby, which shaped the masterpiece we have today, Perkins wrote to Fitzgerald, "The general brilliant quality of the book makes me ashamed to make even these criticisms." As applicable for us too, alas, is Perkins's spin to his authors when their sales disappoint. To Fitzgerald, "So far there has not been much of a sale, but all the publicity we have got ought to accomplish something." To Hemingway, "Everything looks to the good about the book in every way, except the bad business conditions." And it's as if Jeanette Walls, whose triumphant memoir is in your gift bag, heard Perkins's sage advice. "I think in truth that the best writing of all is done long after the events it is concerned with, when they have been digested and reflected upon unconsciously, and the writer has completely realized them in himself." To be inside the book, to learn a writer's voice and territory, to inhabit her mind, to shepherd his work into the world, is a vast pleasure and privilege. It is what Perkins loved and what I love. I want to thank Jeanette and Don and all the other writers in the room for giving me that honor and delight, and for coming tonight from London and LA, from Syracuse and San Francisco, from Virginia and Boston, and the boroughs of New York. We're also all here to support the Center for Fiction, which Nuri Tomasi and Peter Denay have made a vibrant and fertile place for writers and readers. Susan Moldau has not merely accommodated my passions, but adopted them, and has tripled the annual sales of the Perkins Legacy titles we are so very, very fortunate to publish, even if they do not include William Faulkner. Susan and I are the old married couple, but it's Mark Costello who teaches and sustains me, and Henry and Delia who live in the 3D chaos of the job that comes home. Max Perkins famously wore a beat-up fedora in his office at all times, so that if an unwanted visitor stopped by, he could claim he was just on his way out. If he were among us now, Maxwell Perkins would tip his fedora to the 7 first novelists shortlisted for the John Sargent Prize, as do I. And I want to close with a favorite line from Don Below. "This is what we bring to the temple, not prayer or chant or slaughtered lambs. Our offering is language." Thank you. Thank you.